my name is Caroline and I run a blog. It's called Cheer from Head to Toe. It covers everything to do with cheerleading, but specifically UK cheerleading. We make videos about cheerleading, documentaries about cheerleading and being Black in cheerleading, because obviously I'm Black. I am obsessed with everything to do with this sport. It really helped me when I was younger, and I feel it's developed my personality and given me confidence. And I just want to share that joy with other people, get other people in the sport, especially Black people, because there needs to be more of us in the sport as well. But yeah, everything about it I love, and I just want to share it, and I just want to use my skills that I have, like I'm visiting, video editing, making the documentaries to help get the word out there. So yeah, that's me.
Nice to meet you, Caroline. I'm Nigel. I am founder and presenter of boxing YouTube channel When Fists Fly. Initially, I started it just because I started applying for jobs, looking for jobs, trying to get into presenting, and there were none available. So I just started up a boxing YouTube channel and just started going to gyms and trying to like showcase up and coming talents in the sport, preferably black athletes as well. And it's just gone from a platform now where people contact me for them to interview them rather than the other way around, and so on and so forth. Social media platform is growing from strength to strength. And the sky's the limit. I'm just enjoying the process, really. And obviously the aim is to become a TV sports presenter with also my brand as side by side. So yeah, that's the reason why I got into it. And obviously I love the sport in terms of training and all sorts as well.
Why did you choose your name? Like your brand?
The brand name, When Fists Fly.
Yeah.
Everyone comes up with like basic boxing YouTube channels, Boxing King or Boxing Media or stuff like that. So I just try to be as creative as possible and try and use alliteration. So When Fists Fly, so fist fly, and obviously boxing is a sport where your fists are constantly flying, trying to land a shot. So I just try to be creative, I guess. And then the name Big Nige. When I was a youngster, I used to be chubby. So and I was always known for eating like good. I never played around with my food. So it's just Big Nige, I guess. It's just stuck with me for now. So it's now a brand I'm trying to build. So yeah. How about yourself? Where did the name Cheer from Head to Toe come from?
I just came up with it myself, and I wanted something this years ago. So I just wanted something that explained everything I did. So I wanted to talk about everything to do with cheerleading. So from head to toe, that's how I came up with the name, and it's kind of just stuck now. Yeah, and now I couldn't imagine my brand without that name, because I've worked so hard for people to know that name. So yeah, that's how it like started.
Okay. How did you? Why cheerleading? Was that a sport that you were doing from a youngster and obviously to your adult years, or is it just something that you picked up in your teens or so on and so forth? Like, where did it come from? Where did the passion come from?
Well, I've always been like into sport. Like I started like swim, like probably I think competitively swimming at like 5 with swimming. I used to swim for my like county team, and I just became really obsessed with that. But then as it's quite a solo sport, and it can be quite like isolating, because you do everything by yourself. Obviously you're there with your friends, but it's not the same as being part of a sport. And then it's so cringy, but it's true. I loved the film Bring It On. I loved that film when it came out. And I just was like, when I went to uni, I saw that they had a team, and I wanted to join the gymnastics team. That was my first goal, but they weren't running it. So I was like, okay, well, cheerleading's like a mixture of both. So I'll just do cheerleading team. And then I just fell in love with the team. I love being part of a team as well. I think I really enjoy being part of a team. You go to competitions all over. We've gone all over like England, like up, down, like wherever. And it's a real bonding moment. It gave me something to keep me physically fit. It also gave me friends outside of my course, because when I went to uni, I was like, I want to make friends, I want to have a good social life. And cheerleading really gave me that. And I just fell in love with people won't be aware, but it's actually quite athletics, like throwing people in the up in the air, like the gymnastics side of it. And you have to physically work out before that to make sure you have a good enough stamina. I just loved every different element of it. And I was like, yeah, no, this is something. And it just developed from there. And then when I left uni, there was nothing on like social media. Everything was the US, and I love like what they're doing there, but I'm not from the US, I'm here. So that's why like I created the blog, because I just got frustrated and was like, someone needs to do this, but no one was. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I just did, and then it just developed from there. How did you like get into, have you ever boxed? Do you do boxing, or are you more like a watcher?
Yeah, I done boxing at university. So football and boxing are my two sports. Those are my niche. And football, everyone wants to talk about football. So it's just a thing where what makes you stand out, what makes you different. So boxing is just quite specific. You've got to understand what you're talking about. And obviously, if you box in the past, it helps as well. So at first, it was just a form of fitness. And I guess once I just enjoy that type of fitness, and when you're kind of good at it as well, it kind of just works hand in hand. I didn't actually box in any. I didn't actually get to fight, unfortunately, but I got to spar quite a lot of like amateurs and boxing students as well, which is just the adrenaline rush, trying to figure out your opponent's next move. I always consider it like to chess, like you just try and plot your next move without getting caught. And yeah, it's just always, your mind is always constantly thinking. And obviously, like you said, the fitness side of it, if you're unfit, you will get found out. And and the last thing you want to do is be unfit and getting hit in the face. So it's that discipline as well, which I love about it as well.
Yeah, me as well. It's the structure of cheerleading. Like people who don't know won't know, but you know, our routines are quite you get marked on a score sheet, and like you have to have jumps, you have to have tumbles, you have to have stunts, and you have to have dance, and it has to be generally in a certain order. But yeah, there's a structure. Like you need to go to training, like you become to do cheerleading at the level I did it, you have to be quite organized. So I think I enjoyed the structure that the sport gave me, because I had to properly do my uni work, because obviously I'm not going to fail uni. I'm paying a lot of money, but I love cheerleading. So it forced me to become quite organized, which I really, really enjoyed. But random question, what is it like to be punched in the face?
Do you know what? It sounds weird, but whenever I get hit in the face, it basically wakes me up, and in my head I'm thinking, you're never going to catch me like that again. So I not punish them, but basically make them learn that never to do that again. So it wakes me up, basically, in a sense. I'm a lot more alert, and yeah, it's just that adrenaline rush. To be honest with you. My question for you is: you mentioned that you wanted to get into gymnastics before you got into cheerleading. Would you say gymnastics does help with in terms of your balance, in terms of what you're doing with cheerleading and stuff, or what other sports will help contribute to you being a good cheerleader in terms of training?
I would say one, you need to have all-round fitness. Like you need to be physically, like cheerleading the level I do it, you have to be an athlete. You have to be physically fit. If you try and do a cheerleading routine without any stamina, you're going to hurt someone. You're definitely going to hurt yourself. So it's dangerous. But I would say things like gymnastics as well are really, really beneficial. Even swimming as well, because you need to develop that stamina to be able to get the air in, to be able to breathe, to move around the mat, because it's all different kinds of sport. What I mean by that, it's like gymnastics, so you're doing the tumbling, but then you're also dancing, but then you're also stunting, so you're lifting someone, so you're using different parts of your body through a 2-minute 30 routine, which doesn't sound that long, but when the pace we do it at is like that, so if you've got no stamina, you're going to be dead. But yeah, gymnastics, acro, dance as well, because the other thing, you have to be physically strong, but you also need to be flexible. So that's why you need to do extra training on top of your actual lessons to keep up with it, because you need to keep your body strong but like flexible.
Nice. I've got another question for you. So you said when you finished university, the main reason why cheer from head to toe came about was because you was frustrated in terms of like trying to get into it. What advice would you give to the younger generation who have an interest in it, and is how can they get involved in terms of that the sport at grassroots level? Is there more opportunities now than when you were trying to look back then?
Oh yeah, definitely now there's way more opportunity. There's way more people starting clubs. But the reason why I also started is because people didn't know. Like when I started my blog, which is 2011, like sounds weird, social media wasn't what it is now. So people weren't easily accessible, people weren't aware. So it was more to connect people, because I'd meet people who were like, I want to do cheerleading, but I don't know where to even start with. Like some people were like, I didn't even know there was cheerleading in the UK. So I'd be like, okay, let's give. But yeah, there's now, if you generally just type cheerleading online, I'll probably come up. But you'll also find other teams. You know, there's generally a team in your area that you can go to. And I would just say, go. Just try it out. It might be for you, it might not, but just be willing to go. You're definitely going to have fun, meet loads of different people. So just try it out, I would say. But if you've got gymnastic skills, great. But if you don't, you can go as well, because the good thing about cheerleading is there's different components. Like I said, there's a stunt, dance, tumbling. So you want to be an all-rounder, but not everyone is. That's not realistic for everyone. So some people just stunt. Some people, they just do the gymnastics parts. You know, some people, so that's why I like it, because everyone can be involved in the sport, because there's a role for everyone. So that's why I really like it.
Okay, nice.
Let me answer your question. So let me think. So you said you really wanted to like get into presenting. Why do you feel like boxing is going to be your avenue that you feel would be better than football? I know you said like everyone's doing football, but what do you love about boxing so much, you know, that's kept your passion up to want to keep doing what you're doing?
Oh, good question. In terms of like presenting and boxing, I just feel like it's a distinguished sport, and not anyone can just pick up and start talking about it. You actually have to understand like just the analytics, like the space, the range, the slipping, the sliding, and being able to think off your feet, because you could ask a question, and then the response might not be the response that you want. But if you don't understand like the jargons or the analytics of it, you can't really like think off your feet and just throw in another question. I feel that will probably be my USP in terms of like being in the ring and sparring and knowing what it feels to be hit, but you're trying to keep a straight face just so that the opponent doesn't know that you've got them. And also, I guess it just shows like, it shows another side to my presenting skills in terms of than just like your basic football or other major sports. And I think with boxing booming now as it is, yeah, it just makes you just a bit different. But obviously now everyone's kind of doing that boxing YouTube channel, whereas when I first started it, it was mainly everyone was doing football, and hence that's why I started with boxing.
Okay.
How has your sport contributed to Black and British culture?
That's a really interesting question. And I would say at the moment now, I'm not really sure if my sport really has, because I wouldn't say many people even know my sport exists in England. Like for people who know about it, it's a massive sport, but I would say the general public don't have a clue. So I don't think we're there yet, but either at what the next 2014, 2024 or 2028, we're going to officially be in the Olympics. We worked very hard to get there, and the day we are there, I'm going to be like but we've worked so hard to get there. So I think when stuff like that happens, like we get, the general public will see it more, and then I think it will have more of an impact. But I would say the Black people who are in my sport, like who know, have really affected me, because I kind of started my blog as well because there was a team that was predominantly Black who performed, and they blew my mind. Like I'd never seen so many like Black people involved in the sport, and they were just one team and they just could do everything. And I still remember to this day, I was watching them and just being like, wow. And I was like, someone needs to hear about this. Someone needs to be a part of this. Like, people need to know. And I was just really impressed by that. So there's definitely like Black leaders in my sport who inspired me, and hopefully in time more and more people will hear about them. But on the whole, I don't think we have yet, but yet is the word. But what about you? Who's
I'd say massively. From a young age, I've seen like a lot of my favorite fighters are Black. But I'd say the main reason why I wanted to start doing it was probably after the Olympics in probably 2012 when Anthony Joshua won it. I feel like in terms of him and his status and just being relatable to like the Black community at the time, because I was at university at the time, it was influential to see a young Black man come through the system and obviously win a gold medal, and you can see him on TV and you think, yeah, I could see one of my friends doing that, or I'd like to get involved because he's doing it, and so on and so forth. So I felt like it kind of opened the doors in terms of like Black British culture, because for some reason I always feel like boxing, you'll get Black and white boxers and all types of different cultures in boxing, but in terms of the people that the people that buy tickets to come to the show, it's not necessarily Black. It might just be predominantly white people. Whereas now you get all types, you even get females, so Black females, all types of people come to the sport now, because now they're seeing a lot more promotional stuff about it. They're seeing people that you can recognize, or you've got a close friend that boxes. So I feel like when I was going to school, I didn't really know much boxers. Now there's loads of people that I went to school with, or I know from a friend, oh, this person boxes, and it's now becoming a more common thing. So yeah, big up Anthony Joshua, and big up the Olympic system as well, because it's obviously doing its thing.
But I definitely think what you said is right. Like I'm learning as I get older, representation does really matter. And that's why, like, when I initially started my blog, it sounds sad, I didn't actually show that I was black, because like my sport is predominantly white, like, but I know what I know. So I wait till I build it. But then as I met people, they really liked the fact that I was black, especially young black girls, boys were really like, so I'm making effort now to show my face, to show how, like, because I've realized how important it is for representation, because the amount of people who've come to me and be like, you do the sport. So I kind of looked into my local area because to see that I wouldn't be a part of it. So I think that's really, really important, because even for me, I don't know a lot about boxing, but I know Auntie Joshua, and it's because he's black, because I'm like, oh, there's this black guy. Yeah. Oh, what's he doing? Let's see what this is about. And you do get, so I understand the importance of that. So I think what you're doing is really good as well, because to see more people who look like us talking about it, you think, oh, okay, maybe this is for me. Let me have a look. And I just think that little thing helps. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. So you say it's like, you see cheerleading is obviously predominantly a white sport. Even in America, would you say that it's white as well? Because like you said, I reference from Bring It On, and I remember like the group of black girls that just done their thing. And is that the same over in America as well, would you say?
I would say in America, it's still predominantly, but yeah, but I wouldn't say it's more to do with money. Cheerleading is it's very expensive. Like our uniforms are probably anywhere like starting point between 80 to 300 pounds. They are covered with, like, depending on where you go, Swarovski crystals, like, like we take our sport seriously, but we love what we wear, and that is also a big part of it as well. So, and also to train, you need to be, if you really want to do well, you need to be in a gymnastic hall, so you need to have the proper floor, so that costs money. You need to have privates on top of your actual training sessions, that costs money. Competitions as well, accommodation, travel. So I think it's more the fact that cheerleading is so expensive that kind of limits people being involved. But I'm hoping, like, once we get to the Olympics and then we get, Sports England and stuff, there'll be more funding will put down to allow everyone to be more involved, because that is a limit that I think stops black people being involved, because so many people I know are like, I can't afford it, and it's an expensive sport. So I appreciate that.
Okay, I never knew that it's that expensive in terms of, like, just obviously the attire you wear, traveling to competitions and training. It's not like boxing where you can just go to a boxing gym and you pay like £3-5 and then yeah.
No.
Interesting. I would say my next question is, what is something that you admire about the opposite sport and would love to incorporate into yours?
So about your sport, I admire the dedication. I think I admire the obsession, and I mean that in a positive way, like where you get immersed in it. And I also sort of admire the aggression as well. I think cheerleaders we're not really aggressive, but we have that passion, and like you said, like, you're never going to hit me again. I think that's something you have in cheerleading, where you're like, okay, we messed up this bit, we'll never do that again. You will succeed. I admire that passion, that drive to keep going. I think you have to just have that mental discipline to know, like, I imagine when you want to go out and do something, but you're like, no, I need to stay at home, I need to focus, or I need to get up for the gym, the discipline. I really admire that part of the sport. And also the showmanship. I think you have to be a showman to do it well, to get people engaged, because obviously it's very physical, but people want to be entertained. So I really, really admire that about the sport.
And from my point of view, in terms of your sport, it would probably be the discipline. Like you said, the mastering the routines and obviously make it entertaining, but also camaraderie. From what I remember from Bring It On, like whenever it was like a family. And I feel that's quite similar to a lot of American sports in terms of like basketball, American football. Like you have the competition side of things, but also together, like you go out together, you enjoy, you Like you get to know each other on a more personal level. I think that needs to be incorporated more into UK sports, because I always associate it with like American sort of sports, but I admire that about your sport.
Oh, thanks. I would say it's like, because when I used to competitively swim, I loved that. And winning by yourself is nice, but winning with, and I say family because you do feel like you see these people all the time. They are your family. Winning with your family is a feeling you cannot match, because everybody gets that buzz. So yeah. But would you say boxing has that family element? Like, I mean, with your like coaches and your trainers, or it's kind of different?
I would say with a stable, so you could have 3-4 people training under the same trainer. So they'll all go for morning runs together. They'll all be training in and around roughly the same time. They'll go to lunch together. They'll be sparring one another depending on the weight classes. So that's probably in terms of like family orientated. But obviously when it's fight night and you're in there by yourself, it's literally you against you as well. Yeah. I got a good question for you actually. What does cheerleading mean to you in 3 words?
Oh, I like that. I would probably say passion, family, and hope. No, it sounds weird, but yeah, it goes with
passion, family, and hope. Okay, cool.
And what would you say yours 3 words are?
Discipline, passion, and competitiveness.
And what's like, so, okay, we'll go back to 3 words. What's the 3 biggest misconceptions about your sport?
That it's just some people call it like a thuggery sport. Like it's just fighting and punching people in the face. There's so much more to it because you're in camp for a fight, probably 12 weeks or about 3 months. So you have to go for your morning runs. You have to eat the right food. You have to stay disciplined. You have to maintain your weight. When you're training in the gym, that's one thing because you've got someone watching you. But when you're at home, you can easily go and get fast food or whatever. And it's just that I feel like a lot of these fighters, it's just that fear of losing. That fear of losing makes them want to work that extra harder, especially if they're still undefeated. And obviously you've got people that are in the crowds that you don't want to, it's a pride thing as well. You don't want to lose badly and get knocked out or so on and so forth. You want to put on the performance, like you said, the entertainment side of things. So yeah, I'd say that's the big misconstrued. People just think like it's just punching in the face and that's it. But when you're in the ring for 3 minutes and you're moving around, and even when you're tired and you're trying to throw shots and this and that, it's a lot of thinking. It's a thinking man's sport.
It's probably the longest 3 minutes of your life. You're just like,
very much so, very much so.
That's why you got to be fit, because otherwise, yeah.
Very.
No, but I can appreciate that, because I would say before people join cheerleading or really see what I do, they think we're all idiots. They think we're not aware of ourselves. They think we're all promiscuous. It's none of the things. I have, like, my team, and teams I've been on, you meet all people from different, like doctors, lawyers, people, vets, like people, just, you mix all different kind of people, but we all come together because we're all passionate about one thing. And for those 2 minutes 30, we are a team. And I mean, like, we're meant to be as one. Like, everything we do is for the team. Everything we do is about the team. Everything, we're all pushing together for one goal. If someone can't do something, we see it as you can't do something. So that's how we work it out. Like, if they're failing, we're all failing. So we need to fix whatever they're doing so we can all do better. But I was going to ask you to, like, last question, we'll kind of round it up a bit. So what are you most looking forward to, like, as a Black person for your sport in 2022?
Not only just seeing more Black fighters, but more seeing like more Black YouTubers, more presenters, more reporters, more Black commentators. Like, the media we're beginning to flood ourselves now into not just only boxing, but just sport in general. So Black PR companies, so we'll be able to maneuver together and help each other get for all of us to reach our goal, basically. Just being able to see like-minded people with obviously the same skin color. That's about it, really. Togetherness. So I'd probably say the same question for you. What are you looking forward to most in 2022 as a Black person, in your sport as a Black person?
I think for me, there are a lot of people and athletes who are involved in my sport, but what I want to see, not just now, but in times to come is that the people who are making the big decisions, more people who look like me, and women and men, I think we need that. The more people who are at the big tables making the big decisions about our sport, because our sport, my sport is like an international sport, so, but there is governed by like two bodies, the USASF and the ISASF. So I want to see more Black people and people of color in those rooms helping to make those decisions, because our opinions are needed, they're valued, they're important, and they're different. So I feel like they need to be in those rooms. So that's what my goal is, because I know once there's people at the top, it will trickle down to like everyone, and everyone will understand, and more people will get involved. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice.
I'll say quick thing. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed interviewing you. Well, not interview.
And a conversation.
Conversation. I really enjoyed conversating with you. And I didn't know that you could box in uni. I found that really interesting. And that's another fun thing I've learned. But yeah, I just, you know, I've really enjoyed this, and I want more people to get involved in cheerleading, especially in the UK. There are so many benefits. There are so, like, even if we have a thing called paracheer, which is people who are abled and disabled. So we have people, you know, in wheelchairs, people who might be amputees. So there is a space for everyone in my sport. And I think once you get involved, you will love it. Once again, my blog is Cheer from Head to Toe, and we talk about everything UK cheer. And I hope to make more documentaries about more different things going on in our sport. And yeah, just love it.
Nice. I'll definitely be looking out for you. I'll definitely give you a follow on all the socials, and obviously put you in stories and stuff to promote you guys as well.
Oh, thank you. I'll do the same for you. Give me a shout.
Thank you. Definitely enjoyed our conversation. Got more of an insight into obviously your sport and what it means to you. Like I said, I've always associated it with like America, but now that I know like yourselves, and obviously there's other people, we'll definitely be looking out and supporting it for sure. Don't know if you catch me doing a bit of gymnastics or throwing in the air, but I would like to be involved with like whatever documentaries you've got yourself involved with, because that's kind of like my expertise and stuff. So yeah.
But you don't know, see, that's what I'm saying. You will come and fall in love with it. The amount of men I've brought to cheerleading, and then they go on to be part of the teams. They're like, oh, it's not for me. I'm like, I just need to get you there. And then you'll because you're strong. So we'll use you.
Cool.